And then I'll text you mine. Have to look at you. Who are you again?
Karen, I didn't have the name things up.
Let's do over. Oh yeah, I did just last week.
Good evening. We call to order the regular meeting of the West Valley City Council. Note that we do have a quorum with 4 members of the council in attendance. Mayor Bigelow, Don Christensen, and I believe Tom Hune were not able to join us tonight. With that, we'll begin our meeting with the Inside the City Video Series video.
Bria Helvey. I'm with South Jordan Fire Department. I want to be a firefighter because my dad's been a volunteer for 20 years and I've seen the impact that's had on our community.
My name's Adam Case. I'm with West Valley City Fire Department, and I want to be a firefighter because I like having a lot of variety, and we do a lot of fun things, and I want to, be a public servant.
I'm Rob White. I'm with West Valley Fire Department. I wanted to be a firefighter when I missed being on a team. I missed the camaraderie. I missed the hard work that you get to do every day, and you get to go home feeling like you accomplished something important and helped someone.
Hey everybody, Bob Fitzgerald back again to talk about the recruit camp that's going on. We are in week 4 right now of recruit camp, and they've made a lot of progress in a lot of different ways. One of the things that we've noticed is they are all pretty good people. But we need them to be pretty good firefighters on top of being pretty good people so that they can go out and represent and serve their communities. This last couple of weeks, we've introduced a lot of new things to them. We've been putting them into live fire. We've got that confidence level in their ability to deal with their self-contained breathing apparatus and not panic, that we've been able to introduce some live fire to them.
Hot, very hot, but it was good. It was good to see what actually happens when it's burning and the flow paths and everything, just so that we can see the visuals of situations we can get stuck in or others can get stuck in and how to get out of them.
It's been really fun. It's fun getting used to the SCBA and then being in the turnouts and feeling the heat, and it's been a lot of fun.
Fire's been, it upgrades everything you're doing, makes it harder. You think you're good and you're fit and you've got everything down, and then you get put in an ideal situation where it's really hot, and it just ups everything. Like you're more fatigued, communication's harder, but it's been good so far. It's been a lot of fun.
Company 4 is ready, sir.
We've got a lot of things to do with these guys coming up.
Ladder coming round!
Next week's going to be a very challenging week for them as we deal with more live fire and as we deal with calling writs or maydays when firefighters get in trouble.
I'm a firefighter, baby!
These guys have been working hard. We've literally put them through hell in certain situations. We've pushed them to their physical limits, and some of them have almost reached their emotional limits. I've seen a lot of tears, and from a few of the candidates as they have pushed themselves to a limit that they didn't think that they could reach. And it's been gratifying to see them overcome that. And again, we want to make sure that when we send these recruits to their respective stations, that they not only are competent at their job, but they are an addition and they can serve their communities well.
Hey, very good. Thank you. Our next item of business is the approval of the minutes of September 21st, 2021.
Move for approval of those minutes.
We have a motion and a second. Note that Councilman Tom Hune has joined us electronically. So if anybody has any opposition to the motion to approve the minutes, please make it known. We will then consider those minutes approved unanimously. Brings us to item 6, the comment period. Starting with public comments, we've set aside up to 30 minutes for public comment. Individuals may take up to 5 minutes. So first we have Paul Nichols. We have the podium turned the wrong way.
I wasn't sure. It's on wheels. I don't know. Thank you, everyone. I was like thinking
Let's make sure that the mic's on. Go ahead and bring that up to, yeah, there we go. Go ahead, please, Mr.
Paul
Nichols.
C. Nichols, lived in this house since 80, and it just gets worse and worse with traffic. Now they're driving without the lights in the morning, late in the evening. I get up every morning about 5:30, 6 o'clock, half of them going without the lights on. And it's funny, there ain't more accidents. So everybody says, well, why don't you ask for City Hall? I said, you go down and ask for them. You know what I mean? They want to push it all to me. So thank you. They said that they talked about putting a red light there on 5400. So that would be a real big help. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I failed to ask, Nicole, do we have anybody online for public comment?
No, sir, we don't.
Okay. Next, we have Jim Visock.
You said my name first, Bueller. So it's a little thing we have between each other. Yesterday, I was in a Zoom meeting about HB 411. If you haven't heard, Salt Lake has committed to HB 411. West Valley has until January to do the same if that's what they choose. I'm hoping that West Valley will go that way. West Valley Family Fitness Center. I sent you guys all an email today about an issue that has been coming up there. I thought Nancy Day would be able to handle the issue. Unfortunately, she hasn't. I've been bringing up for the last few weeks, switching from that issue. We'll just leave that alone. You guys have the email, it's very detailed in it. Cleaning I can only speak for the men's locker room since I can't go into the women's, but I can go with what people have told me. Locker rooms, in my opinion, my observation and my experience, are not being cleaned on a regular basis. I sent an email to Nancy about this. She sent back an email that she copied the city manager, Councilwoman Lang, and a couple other people with their procedures. It is not happening, or if it is happening, the same person is, for example, is chewing a blue piece of gum, spitting it into the urinal every single day for the last 2 weeks. Putting a soap or shampoo, skin softener, whatever dispenser on top of the shower stall. Lockers filling it with the same trash over and over again. I brought this up to staff there. I brought it up to Jamie, and I've talked to Nancy about it. Nothing is being done. With the exception, I brought up about the trash entering and exiting the facility. It has been, somebody's going out there and cleaning it. So it does look better when you walk in. The trash potholes are still there, and the area that I talked about is only one area throughout the city. I believe if we had a competent person in charge of the West Valley Family Fitness Center, a citizen wouldn't have to bring up these, and a patron. I am not an employee of West Valley City. I'm not an employee of West Valley Family Fitness Center. I should be treated like every other patron. My word should be, no more or no less than any other patron of it. I think that Miss Young and Miss Day have forgotten that. The skate park, Travis, hopefully I don't get his name too bad, Bellantino. Since the skate park has been open, this guy goes down there every single morning and cleans the skate park and picks up the trash. And sometimes he's posted on his Facebook site 3 or 4 bags of trash. Why is a citizen of West Valley City doing it, not our park and rec people? Once again, we had somebody competent in charge. You drive by, you see that trash or see this guy doing it like I did, and I asked questions and talked to him. And the reason why he's doing it is because he's seen it in other cities where the trash builds up, and instead of the city keeping it clean, they close it down. He loves skateboarding. He's been skateboarding since he's a kid. He's from San Diego, which I found out. And he doesn't want our park to close down. I don't understand why we pay employees to do this. He shouldn't have to do that. And I did thank him personally and from the city for doing this, because it is a good resource for our kids, or for everybody's kids, to go let off steam, girls and boys. And last but not least, 2 things. The fake grass out in the front that they're putting in. We wouldn't allow a citizen who came before council who had an issue with code enforcement to do it, yet the city's doing it. Interesting. Last thing, my hometown project. I loved everything I heard in there. I've been involved now for a couple of years in it, heavily involved in it. I think what the RUPs are doing and the other, once again, there's a whole list. Nicole, you know them all. The hard work that they put in the many hours, and Craig Thomas especially. I know he's a director and stuff, and he may not be eligible for an employee of the month, employee of the year. Of all the West Valley City employees that I've met and know, there is nobody like Craig Thomas, and he should get his street sign and an employee of the month. And I know the majority of the citizens of West Valley would agree with me.
Thank you. Anybody else here for public comment? Seeing none, any comment from our Assistant City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. I did have just 2 things I wanted to inform the council of. A couple of exciting things. The first is we got our first application, our first subdivision application for the RS zone. You'll remember as a council, you passed the residential sustainability zone in an effort to facilitate those green and sustainable housing choices. And you'll see that subdivision application come to you very soon. So I thought that was good news that you might want to hear right away. The other is I asked for, I'd heard a story yesterday about some staffing issues that continue on in other cities with regards to the police department. And as you know, we've shared those staffing issues, but between the HR department, our media relations group, and the police department, we've had really good success and been able to ramp up those open positions very quickly. So I'm happy to report that we only have 6 remaining open positions in the police department. We just swore in several new officers just last week, and we've been able to facilitate that very quickly with the good hard work of Chief Jacobs' team and of John Flores' team. So I thought that was also good news you'd want to hear right away. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comment from the City Council?
Mayor Pro Tem, I think I have one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I just, just like you and everybody else, we received an email from Jim Visak. I think a little bit disappointed, but I want to hear from our side as well, for both sides. So if Nancy or Jamie has a minute, maybe sometime next week, can say something to us at the study meeting or something. So I want to hear that. So if you appreciate that very much, putting it be into future agenda items, something.
And
Thank
Nicole is nodding her head. I'm sure she'll make sure that you get the information you seek. So any other city council comments? Okay, that brings us to our business. We have resolution 21-169, authorizing the city to enter into an agreement with Morton and Company for certain insurance brokerage services. This is part of our health insurance contract, I believe. Any further information or?
No, sir, unless there are questions I can answer, happy to answer those.
Okay, this is in the hands of the council then.
I would move for approval of resolution 21-169.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion to the motion? Hearing none, we'll turn to Ms. Kamic for the vote.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Bueller.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next, we have resolution 21-170, the purchase of 2 front-end loaders from Wheeler Machinery Company. Although these are expensive equipment, it is noted in the issue paper that we actually receive more money turning in our old loaders and buying new ones than it's a profit to us, which is a very unusual situation, one we've been able to do every purchase for several years now. Any questions or discussion? It's in the hands of the council.
I move for approval of resolution 21-170.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion to the motion? Hearing none, Ms. Kamic, would you conduct the vote, please?
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
and Mayor Pro Tem Bueller.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next, we have resolution 21-171, which is to approve the purchase of 2 international bobtail cab and chassis from Rush Truck Center. The cost on this is $188,000 from the Class C Roads Fund. These vehicles, if purchased, will be used by the Public Works. Thank you. I was going to say the Roads Department, but the Public Works Department, including for snowplow. We replaced 2 2007 trucks that we have to the council.
I would move for approval of resolution 21-171.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion to the motion? Hearing none, Ms. Kamic, would you please conduct the vote?
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Bueller.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next, we have resolution 21-172. Approval of an agreement with Rocky Mountain Power to bury certain overhead power lines in the 4700 South project. This would come from our, let's see, it's the, this is from a grant, I believe, or not a grant, a bond, right. And it's a cost of $1.8 million to the council.
I would move for approval of resolution 21-172.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion to the motion? Hearing none, Ms. Kamic, would you please conduct the vote?
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
and Mayor Pro Tem Bueller.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
We have two items on our consent agenda, resolutions 21-173 and 21-174, both for purchase agreements for easements, for construction, and for perpetual easements. These are items on the consent agenda are usually those of lesser value or cost and routine items. We can certainly address them individually if the council has any questions or comments, or we could take them together to the council.
I move for approval of the items, both items of the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Then Ms. Kamick.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Bueller.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
We don't have any need for a closed session tonight. That concludes our business today. For those listening in, I make a comment that although we handle our business quite quickly and this evening, these are items that we've seen before. We studied them last week. We're able to ask our questions at that time and consider the issues for a week before we made and our decisions and voted on them today. So that concludes our business. If we could have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn without any objection. We will adjourn this meeting. Hearing none, we stand adjourned.